Um, it is Sunday. Sorry, I'm bringing up Dagmar, who is a YouTube friend, and I have her up and running while we talk. Give her some watch hours. I had our friend Ivy up and running as well. So, um, I got that taken care of. Just read an interesting quote. A couple interesting quotes that we'll be looking up while we're here. Our friend Destiny is here. Destiny Forever Walks PhD. Hello, Eric. Blessings to you and happy Sunday. How are you? I'm doing pretty good, Destiny. How are you? Um, Pretty good day so far. Hey, Kay is here. Says hello, Yogi. How are you? So, actually, I'm glad both of you are here. You are both people, as well as with Goldie, um, that I talked to about this. Christianity, um, not always offering a practice. I think people are sort of left um, wandering, wandering in a spiritual desert as far as Christianity is concerned. In yoga, you have a complete 8 branches of yoga. You have step one, which starts with the ethical foundation of yoga, all the way up to the realization of samadhi, which is bliss consciousness. In Buddhism, you have um, 8 limbs of Buddhism, 8 branches of Buddhism, the Eightfold Path of Buddhism, um, where it starts off with the Four Noble Truths and it tells you how to navigate for a life that is free from suffering, which is different than you say a life free from suffering. People think that that's somewhat of a fantasy. How can you have life that's not suffering? Especially when the first noble truth is that life is suffering. But what the Buddha originally said was life is dukkha. Dukkha is the original language of the Buddha. It's Pali, Pali is the language that he spoke. And dukkha means transient, unsatisfying. So what the Buddha actually said was that life is transient and unsatisfying, and that we suffer because we cling to that which is impermanent. And the way out of that, which is the true path of Buddhism, is to find a way not to hold on to the transient, to be unattached to that which isn't meant to be held to. Destiny says that she's doing awesome. That's great to hear. And says hello and blessings to Kay. And Kay says that she's great, and I hope that you are as well. Kay says, I grew up Christian. My dad grew up Christian as well, but became a Buddhist later. Wow, that's really interesting. I grew up a Christian too. I grew up a Catholic. I went to Catholic school from 2nd grade to 9th grade, and then I was politely asked by that school um, to not come back, go to a different school, which I gladly did. Um, Destiny says, finding the way to let go of things that no longer serve us or our purpose. Exactly. And even more so, the realization that everything in life is transient. Nothing solid is going to stay solid. Um, everything is in flux. That's the nature of life. So you learn to be brokenhearted. You learn to be tender. You learn to have empathy and compassion for people. There's a quote from uh, Milagro. I'm pronouncing it completely wrong, by the way, not on purpose. Um, that I just read. Malapar. He's a Tibetan, considered a Tibetan saint. Um, if you realize the emptiness of all things, compassion will be realized in your heart. Um, that's the inherent emptiness of things. That's not to be taken in a negative way. Um, but that's the fact that Buddhism offers that path. Christianity does too, and a very simple and easy path. Could really be summed up in just a few sayings. It could be summed up by the Sermon on the Mount, or Jesus pointing that the kingdom of heaven is within, as well as all of the miracles that he performed. We can as well, if we have, what was it, the faith the size of a mustard seed. Destiny says everything must be broken down into molecules to explore the inner beauty and find its authenticity, authentication. That word does not flow easily from my tongue. Beautifully said. And then, of course, molecules are broken down into atoms, which are broken down into particles and subatomic particles, and then even subatomic particles, the quarks, and so on, until we're at that level of emptiness that is a realization. The realization that if you realize the emptiness of all things, compassion will raise within your heart. Absolutely love that line. This is why in Christianity, though, I always return to Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes. And then I remember this from years ago, but I came across it today, and it just struck me as the perfect way to offer a path of Christianity. That when Jesus was asked which of the commandments were the most important, and people need to remember that for Jesus, the Old Testament was done and over with. He brought a whole new teaching, a whole new realization. So to cling to just the things that the Old Testament offers does a disservice to the teachings of Jesus. Kay says, I agree, Miss Destiny. Destiny says, Kay, did you ever take, and I was going to ask this too, did you ever take an interest in Buddhism, or did your dad teach you some things? Looking forward to hearing that answer. That was a great question, Destiny. So when Jesus was asked which of the commandments was the greatest, and I brought this up because I actually read it early this morning and it just struck me. Why isn't this the tenet of every Christian practice? This is considered the great commandment. Jesus was asked, teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? And Jesus said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Which reminds me of the great words of Ramana Maharishi. When he was asked, how should we treat others? And his reply was, there are no others. Which just goes to show you that those universal truths of love, empathy, and compassion cut across every single border. every single difference of religion, the basic truth of all that, what Huxley called the perennial philosophy, is the same. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And that's not to be taken as a God distant in some faraway heaven who sits in judgment of everyone. This is the God of reality, the God of life, the God of beingness, the God that Jesus also pointed out is found within in the kingdom of heaven. So the way to God realization is to turn within. What you find is God, and that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, and that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Because truly, as Ramana Maharshi said, there are no others. Kay says, I used to go to meetings with him. I didn't really delve deep into it. However, I did support it. So Christianity does offer a practice. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be taught anymore. We're taught social commentary. We're taught that certain people need to behave in this certain way, other people need to behave in this certain way. That, again, it's all really, if you ask someone what makes you a Christian, they'll say, well, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, I don't believe. And then when they get to beliefs, they say things along the lines of, well, I believe Jesus is the Son of God, I believe that we go to heaven. But there's no that I'm a Christian because Jesus said, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and that that's the greatest and first commandment, and that the second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. It would be amazing if that was categorized as a practice, that every time you went to church, which I haven't been in quite some time, that was asked, did you practice? Did you practice today? Are you practicing now? Jeremy and Cheryl's Cruise Adventures is here. It says, hey everyone. Hello guys, how are you? Always enjoy watching you. Kay says, agreed, Miss Destiny. Oh, I missed something from Destiny. Destiny says, okay, Kay, thanks for sharing that. There are so many religions. We're all one, and so divinely connected to the divine creator universe. Agreed, 100%. And again, that's what Huxley called the perennial philosophy. Now, of course, Buddhism, there's no talk of God. Even in yoga, there is, but in a very unique way, that there's a personal God and a universal God, and they're actually the same. And you are that. I am that. Which is why, the yogic path is just so accepting of every religion. And same with the Buddhist path. I've heard several Buddhist practitioners, that they became better Christians through the practice of Buddhism or their practice of yoga, that they became better Jews through the practice of Buddhism or yoga. Destiny says, welcome in everyone and happy Sunday. Please don't forget to smash the like button and come in and share out the host's amazing channel. Blessings and love. Absolutely. I appreciate that, by the way. Destiny will be right back. Hey, Flower is here. Flower, how are you? Oh, I didn't see Mocha. Mocha's here as well. we got club music playing. Our friend Kay is getting ready to do her burpees. I believe this is day 32. Or this is burpee 32. It's day 28, but there'll be 32 burpees, I believe. Mocha says hello to Flower. Flower says she's good. Kay says, hey Mocha, Flower, hope you're well. How rude, Miss Mocha. What did Mocha do? What did Mocha do this time, I should say? And Kay says, yep, 32 today. Big number. I got you tuned in. We're going to watch the reps. Just a little message here for you. So that's my take on the practice of Christianity, is that we should make it a practice. And that way it can also be practiced by those who don't consider themselves Christian. It's a way of navigating with kindness, empathy, and compassion through life. And man, we can all certainly need that. Which is the same, to practice yoga, you don't need to be a Hindu. To practice Buddhism, you don't need to be Tibetan or from Myanmar. I think I got that right. Flower says something going on because they smell wire. SMTH. I'm trying to remember if I know what SMTH. So I'm not even going to try to figure it out. Kay says, I appreciate you. Thank you, Kay. And that her Flower says her nose is clogged, so I can't smell anything. Kay says, I hope you feel better. Roka says, rude. What was rude? That's what I want to know. Flower says she's good now. So, Kay is doing her warm-ups. Everyone always has the same look when they're about to do burpees. And the look is, man, I don't really want to do burpees. But Kay gets the reps done. Here goes. Number one coming up of 32 reps. And you guys can check out Kay Renee's garden. I'm actually going to put it up on my community page, community thing. So you guys can go check her out doing her burpees. Here's what you got to notice. Kay is in motion. She doesn't stop. She does her burpees, she jogs in place, she does her burpee, she jogs in place. She is working all the way through. So if you guys aren't friends, aren't connected with Kay, go to my community page, click her out. Right now, she is getting her burpees in. Flower says, Hey, wow, I sniffed really hard, and now I can smell the burnt wire. Well, it's good that you can smell. It's not good that you have a burnt uh, wire. Case says, right? Laughing out loud. Man, it's that universal burpee look. We all have it. That's that look of uh, dread. And hey, Kay, I gotta say, your arms are looking pretty buff there. Toned and strong. Great job. Burpees will definitely keep you fit for gardening. Kay says, I appreciate you sharing me out. My pleasure. Our friend Mayhem and Miracles, Masha, is here. She says, good afternoon. Oh, Masha, how are you? Mocha says, I need to know what I did that was rude. It's a good question. I think all you said was hello. Masha says, good. Thank you. Flower says, what did Miss Mocha do? That was rude. I need to catch on. Up above, you said, Miss Mocha, how rude. Kay says, hey to Mayhem. Kay says, she's been working, Yogi. I can tell. Again, you're looking toned and strong. It's the way of the burpee. Dagmar is here. Hey, Yogi. Dagmar, how are you? I got you up and running right now. We are Vandex. Hardest. It's a rave. That's quite the rave. I have not been to one. The closest I've been is to lots and lots and lots of Grateful Dead concerts, Grateful Dead shows, all through the 1980s and the early part of the 90s. Mayhem says that she's good, and you? I'm doing well. Flowers has a cold, it sounds like, or she's stuffed up. Dagmar says, thank you so much for all your support today. My pleasure, honestly. Our friend Goldie said that you were looking for watch hours, and I'm there for you. Happily so. It's the little things that we can do. Trust me when I say that I get so much out of doing something like that. And it's such a small thing, but it can mean a whole lot to someone who's collecting those hours. And I definitely know that. I am fast approaching. Give you guys a little update. I'm at 2,481, so I'm getting close. Man, it wasn't that long ago. I could barely see a register on my on that little scale that goes across. And now I see the finish line, at least for the 3,000, and then I'll do a big sprint to get there. Mocha says, earlier you said how rude, Miss Mocha. Yep, she did. Dagmar says, everyone in the chat gets the wave. IFNHU is here. IFNHU, by the way, has a, well, first off, how is your dog, IFNHU? And which brings me to the point that IFNHU has a injured dog that is in need of surgery, and if surgery can't be afforded, gonna get a doggy like wheelchair. So he has a GoFundMe. if you tag me in a post sometime, IFNHU, I will definitely post it on my community page. Um, let's see. Flower saying hello to everyone. Dagmar says, Vandex, turn off the sound. Yes, it's a rave. Yeah, so the closest I've been to a rave is a Grateful Dead show, which is, people who've never been to a show don't realize that it is basically a dance concert. All you do is dance. You dance like a hippie, but you still dance. Dagmar says, I can give you watch hours as well tomorrow. That would be awesome. I appreciate that. Dagmar says, also sorry to hear that, IFNHU. And speaking of that, Dagmar, speaking of dogs, I enjoy watching you walk your dog in the countryside. So we were talking a little bit about the practice of Christianity. I'm not a Christian myself. I went to Catholic school. I was raised Catholic, but my path diverged early with yoga, with Buddhism, with sort of an eclectic sense. Destiny says, please don't forget to smash the like button and share out the host's amazing channel. Thank you, Destiny. Dagmar says, thank you. Yes, my dog is like my kid. Speaking of dogs, Mocha's dog, Misty, has not been feeling well either. She was sick last night and sick again this morning. During our walk today, she didn't want to take a single treat, and she loves her treats on the walk. It's one of the things we do. I can feel her. She can will me to give her a treat. She'll put her eyes on my back until I sense the need for a treat, and I give her one. So we send out good energy to IFNHU's pup, as well as Misty, as well as Dagmar dog, because every dog deserves a well wish. I'm behind on a lot of our comments here. Flower says, what's your musical taste, chat and Yogi? That's a great question. I'd like to hear what people have to say. For me, of course, it's, steeped in classic rock growing up, all the way from the 50s to, I sort of petered out in the 90s as far as I'm concerned. And then I grew up on old country music and bluegrass, thanks to my father. My mother played clarinet, and she absolutely loved symphony music, classical music. So I listened to that as well, and absolutely love listening to it. But my passion for the last 4 or 5 years has been jazz. I absolutely love jazz. Destiny says, hello, Dagmar, blessings to you. Destiny says hello to Miss Mocha. IFNHU says it won't let me post community posts, but the links are on my Instagram. You gave me your channel once, and for some reason I couldn't find it. I will try again. Mocha says, my pepper seems a bit sick. Yep, I mentioned that. Hopefully the little bit of food that she ate is going to help her recover. We got some hellos going on. Kay got her burpees in. Dagmar says, to Flower, I go from metal, grunge to techno, and everything in between. I can enjoy whatever music. That is not to speak for Mocha, but she has a very eclectic taste in music. Kay says, oh, I hope the pup feels better. IFNA2 says, hello, Kay. Mocha says, if she doesn't eat, I'll call the vet tomorrow. Odom says, Odom's Homestead is here and says, love my 2 dogs. Speaking of animals, my cat just wandered in to say hello. I have 2, I mentioned before, adopted cats. Had them for about 2 years. Got them, they were 10 years old. 2 sister cats. Destiny says, thanks everyone for joining Just a Yogi doing burpees in his basement for his live discussion. Eric truly appreciates your love and support. I certainly do. Flower says, I have 2 dogs and a cat. That's awesome. I don't believe you've mentioned your dogs before. Destiny says, blessings and love to Odom. And IFNHU says, just Google IFNHU and memes. I will. I got that written down. And after the live talk, we'll be on it. So yesterday, and I might do this again this evening, I started things off with, I was going to do question and answer for fun if anyone had a question. And I got some good questions starting off, and then it got a little odd when somebody asked me if I was a neo-Nazi. Not just once, but twice. Odd thing to ask someone, especially someone who has the Yogi in his title. It just, for me, it sort of offsets. But as someone pointed out in the chat, maybe it's the shaved head. Although the Dalai Lama has a shaved head, and I don't think anyone has ever asked him if he is a neo-Nazi. Kay says, I love jazz as well. Helps me unwind and chill. However, I like all genres of music. Oh, and speaking of which, you always have a great soundtrack to all of your videos. I love people who can put that together. One of the best, I think. It is what it is. Perfect soundtrack. And then, of course, the J has a custom-made soundtrack because he's awesomely talented. Flower says, I used to have 3 dogs. I had 2 dogs. One passed away in 2018 and the other in 2019. And man, I don't know when I'll be ready for another dog. We know that, loving a dog is going to bring no small amount of grief later. Hopefully way, way, way later. But you're never prepared for it. Odom says, hey to Destiny, sorry, working in the garden and listening. I appreciate you listening, Odom. Man, a great day to work in the garden up here. It is gonna get close to 90 degrees. Yesterday, it didn't even break 60. It was 57 as a high. Flower says, what is a Gadgia? Neo-Nazi? You know what? I don't know what the neo part means, but the uh, Nazism was I guess still is, ideology um, of one race being superior to all of the others. You would think um, all this time later it would have faded completely um, away. Not that it would be a thought of how things went wrong in a particular time in history and what we did to correct it so that it doesn't even exist any longer. Um, However, I think the rays of hatred run deep and pass on from generation to generation, maybe lessening. I hope, and I like to think lessening and lessening and lessening, and we eventually um, will just vanish completely. Which brings me back to the first topic, um, having a practice. No matter what your religious affiliation is, as I mentioned, yoga is a practice, Buddhism is a practice, Christianity in theory is a practice, but it's not often put in those step one, step two, step three form. But I think that we would all be better served if it was, if every time you went to church, you were reminded that this is a practice and this is how you do it. It's not just attending a ceremony and then carrying on with your life as if everything's the same as ever. But that, and I love the term practice. When I first started seriously meditating in the early to mid 1990s, I had heard an interview with the Dalai Lama, and he talked about his practice of meditation. And I thought, man, that certainly lets me off the hook. The Dalai Lama, the 14th uh, Dalai Lama, reincarnation of um, monks, spiritual adepts from generation to generation, 14 times through. And he and he's been practicing meditation since he was a kid, and he must have been in his 60s when he did this interview. And he says he simply practices. He's not an expert. He practices. And I thought, well, if the Dalai Lama practices, um, then I don't have to have these super high expectations of enlightenment. I'm allowed to make some mistakes. I'm allowed to fall and stray from the path. Imagine if we thought of that same thing, Christianity. We just start over again, if that is your path. So I love the thought of practice, and that's why, you know, whenever I'm asked questions about yoga, the path of meditation, the path of pranayama, breath work, I always sort of want to preface it with, and the reason for my title, I'm just a yogi. I am a certified teacher, certified meditation teacher, as well as pranayama coach, 200-hour yoga instructor. But I'm just a practitioner. I just practice and practice and practice. And the amazing thing is, I'm super happy with my practice. Meaning it doesn't always, reach that level every day of where I would like it to be. Sometimes I sit in meditation and my mind will still wander and I have to repeatedly bring it back. Other times I just reach this point of peace and contentment, and I stay there sometimes. But I'm good with all of that. I'm good with having a practice and dropping the expectations of having to be great at something. Just because I've meditated for well over 30 years dropping the expectation that every single time I sit has to be perfect, as good as before. As well, dropping that with my burpee practice, that each session doesn't have to match or be better than the last. They don't need to be incrementally better. Um, I just need to be healthy. You know, I don't want to use age as a crutch. That I'm 59 and health is more important than performance, because I can still I can still get fired up for a performance, um, but I don't take anything so seriously now. Let's see. Destiny says, Flower says, it's good to hear that you made IFNH a place to visit. Film. Oops, I missed quite a few. FNHU says this community is the best. Uh, you know what? I really enjoy this community. And IFNHU, I'm very glad that you're part of it. Let's see what I missed. My cat's still meowing at me. Um, IFNHU says, by the way, old country is my favorite. Today's country is more like pop country. Exactly. I hope Mocha is still here and she sees this statement. Her and I have talked about that quite a bit. Um, if you like country pop, that's absolutely fine, but it's not country music. They don't even use the steel guitar anymore. I believe the steel guitar came from Hawaii. I think it did as well. The banjo came from Africa. Um, country music and bluegrass is steeped in worldwide music, from Africa to Celtic music, and then taking all those origins and being completely American as well. Flower says, man, I really need to start addressing people here by sir and miss. No, not at all. Um, you're part of the community. Odin says a lot. I like a lot of different music, but gospel music is food for the soul. I can tell that being so true for you, Odin, when you break out in song, which, as I mentioned before, is an absolutely beautiful thing to witness. Any type of spontaneous joy um, is an absolute thing of beauty. And when you told me that you have people who say they didn't like it when you did that, it just absolutely floored me. Destiny says, you're fine, Odom. You're exactly where your piece is whole and complete. Enjoy your gardening. Yeah, that's true. This is that's Odom's soul home. I think we all need a place like that. I mentioned before what Herman Melville called the insular Tahiti, that within, he called it the verdant soul of man, that lies an insular Tahiti within all of us, an isle of peace. It's a good thing to carry with you in your heart, a place that we can retreat to, no matter how hectic or chaotic, or even sometimes just downright mean and unpleasant the world can seem to be on the surface. If we go deeper, and that's the importance of having that insular Tahiti. We go to that deep, deep place, and we bring it forward. When we reach that isle of peace within, then it's reflected to the world. And we're truly, as St. Francis said, instrument of God's peace. Maybe my all-time favorite prayer. A meditation teacher of mine, Agnatha Swarren, would use and recommended using the Prayer of St. Francis as a meditation tool, and he called it spiritual technology, under the premise that you become what you meditate on. So if you meditate on being an instrument of God's peace, where there's hatred, let me sow love, that's what you bring out into the world. In transcendental meditation, it's called the Maharishi effect. And that's another great practice, Prayer of St. Francis. If we just lived by that, Desi says that she's doing awesome, Odom. Thanks for asking. Flower says I didn't understand any of that, but okay. Which part didn't you understand? Probably the whole part. Hey, Noble is here. I hope all is well, Yokester. I have not heard Yokester yet. I like that. The Yokester, the Yoga Meister. I like the Yoga Meister. Flower says, how are you, Noble? I almost was able to catch you early this morning when you were live. Was just heading out for my first walk, and I thought I saw that you were still live, and I thought I'd be able to catch you, but you had just finished up. Destiny says, please remember to hit the like button if you haven't already. Thanks. Noble says, fantastic catching you live, buddy. I always appreciate it when you're here, Noble. You actually always have great questions. And speaking of which, our friend Flower had asked what kind of music everyone likes earlier. And now that you're here, it reminds me of your fantastic LP collection. Noble is old school. He's got the records. Dagmar says, Odom's Hope said, I'm in Europe and we don't have the gospel music over here. I do like it though. Yeah, it's definitely music for the soul, as is classical music. Many people said it's the music of the spheres that the great composers, when everything was completely silent, when they were in their own form of meditation, they heard the universe itself playing classical music. Almost to a one, every single one of them believed that the music was received note by note by note. John Coltrane was the same. Man, if you guys have ever listened to Love Supreme, it's a spiritual masterpiece. It's an entire album of meditation. And John Coltrane had a mathematical formula for Love Supreme. Many great people believe that the universe is mathematical, which I can see, but I sort of hope not, because I'm so bad in math. Oh, our friend Night Watcher is here. Says hello, Night Watcher. How are you? Hope things were peaceful in your household. I know you got some visitors. Flower is asking how Night Watcher is. Noble says, I started getting on my lives later in the day. Today I will go on earlier than usual. I will be looking for you. Always fun to catch you. And as I mentioned before, when you're live and I'm live, I always try to have you up so I can watch and I can read the comments. And then at other moments, I can turn the volume on and dive in and see what's being discussed. Odom says, yes, Dagmar, love some good gospel music. I know a lot of the rock music was inspired by gospel music. Elvis Presley's first love was gospel music. Night Watcher says I'm good. Actually, not good because Flower says I do like the. Uh, there's not a single thing that you like that I am able to pronounce except for jump style songs. Noble says, hello to Destiny and Flower. I hope all is well. Hopefully, I will catch you in my live later. I hope so as well. There's a lot of love to be shared. Flower says, why to Night Watcher? And the answer is down here. Because they're settling me up for Warset, like sending me to a boarding school. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Keep us posted. Hopefully, you know, hopefully you'll have a say in how things turn out. Noble says, I hope you're having a blessed day, Yogi Bear. I am. Thank you. Flowers as well. And Flower says, why? The Jay Jordan is here. How are you? Just Yogi. I'm good, Jay. How are you? Hey, I was thinking about you. As we end the month, we have, what, 2 more days? And no need for a spoiler, but I was just wondering what the May challenge is going to be. You always have something interesting going on. So, and like I said, I'm not asking for a spoiler, but I am curious, and I'm looking forward to it. Flower says, "How are you, Jay Jordan?" Guys, definitely go over and check out the Jay Jordan's channel. As I was mentioning him earlier about having great soundtracks, and what makes the Jay Jordan so unique is he is the soundtrack. It is the artist presently known as the Jay Jordan. Roka says, "What's up now?" Desi says, "Thanks, family, for lending your support and showing love to the host. It is very much appreciated." Night Watcher says, "Because I'm failing school, and they're sending me to a religious boarding school." Is that definite, or are they just talking about it right now? Anthony Sanchez says, "Hi, remember me?" I do remember you, Anthony. Desi says, "Thumbs up." Flower says, "Night Watcher, let me talk to him." Flower says, "I know that you have ADHD, right?" Flower says, "I'm going to try not to swear." Yeah, you would think with the fact that you've been diagnosed with ADHD and um, autism, that there'd be ways of working with that within your present school. Noble says, "I enjoy you as a person, Yogi Bear. You have helped my channel out so much. I appreciate you and all you've done." Man, Noble, it really is my pleasure. I mentioned before the things I want to support, um, putting out great content, putting out content. You know, me coming here, talking about meditation, talking about yoga, world religion and spirituality, doing the nature shorts. I love putting out that content, but just putting out content without offering support to other people would only wouldn't even be half of a reason to be on here. Um, you got to approach it from an all-inclusive perspective that I can't achieve any type of success unless I help everyone succeed. And my measure of success isn't going to be how many subscribers I have, how many watch hours I have. Those are great metrics. But it's going to be um, how many people have I been able to just reach out and help, even just a little bit, even just incrementally. Um, and that, again, things like that, they can't be measured, but they can be felt. They can be known in our heart. And for me, anytime I get a chance to send someone over to watch Snowball, um, and that's another thing. I talk all the time about the um, Maharishi effect, how if 1%, if one person in a family meditates, the entire family benefits from that meditation. If a family meditates, the entire neighborhood benefits. That 1% of any given population benefits 100% of the population. Um, so when you come across a channel that gives out pure joy, welcoming, a great presence, you want to support it because you know it's going to have that carryover effect. It's going to reverberate throughout the YouTube universal sphere and beyond. If you can do something um, to make one person feel 1% happier, better, and more joyful, um, you've done a great service to the world. And if you go visit Noble, you come away feeling significantly more joyful than when you first arrived. So for me, channels like Noble, channels like Destiny, channels like K, uh, Odom, the Jay Jordan, it is what it is. Um, you guys are doing, not to sound overly dramatic here, you're doing God's work. You're doing the universe's work. You're spreading joy. You're lifting the collective consciousness of the evolving universe. It's now on a higher sphere. You know what? I'm not sure if I could say sphere. There we go. I wasn't sure I could say that again. Um, it's on a higher sphere than it was before you came on. Lifted, evolved, higher. Um, so, man, who wouldn't want to be part of that? That's why I always wonder. I don't get mad or upset when someone comes in, like yesterday, and wonders if I'm a neo-Nazi, um, or people come by to inform me that I'm bald, or something inane. I don't get mad. I don't get upset. I don't care if you come here to troll. But I always do wonder, wouldn't you rather be part of something larger than that? Wouldn't you rather be part of love, be part of joy, spread the gospel of just feeling good, the gospel of goodness? And it's so easy to do, and you feel so much better being part of it. So if I were to react to any of those comments, it just feeds the negativity. And, it's just, in the end, it's not worth it. Let's see. I know I apologize that I've missed some comments. Flower says you shouldn't they send you to a special needs school? I mean, not disabled, but I think there are special schools for people with ADHD and stuff. And I think even within most present schools, there's ways of helping people without having to go to a different school at all. Destiny says, thanks for sharing your live stream, and I always appreciate your kindness and the knowledge you share. I hope you're enjoying the Sunday, and may you have many blessings always be yours. Take care. I'll see you later. Thank you, Destiny. Have a good day as well. Enjoy your Sunday. Man, I always appreciate you being here. Oh, uh, Flower says, I didn't understand the neo part. I'm not sure I understand the neo part either, except I guess it just means um, present, a new version of it, I think. I'll have to look that up, but to be honest, I don't particularly want to read. I don't want to read about the old style Nazism. I don't want to read about new style Nazism. But that was a good question. It is good to be informed. When we're informed, we make better decisions. Flower says she will see Destiny later. Destiny says, thanks, Noble. When is you live? Nightwatcher says, and if there's a special school, that's probably an exorbitant fee. This is true. Kay says hi to all the people that came in. Nightwatcher says, sorry for the bad spelling, just strict and typing fast. Never need to apologize for bad spelling. Not in here. I am the holder of the title of the world's worst speller. Flower sums it up. Says it's fine. Don't worry about the misspelling. The J. Jordan says I have surgery next month, so we'll not get to do a full month challenge. I'll be thinking of you, sending out some prayers for the J. Jordan. Quick and full recovery from the surgery. Everyone's saying hi. Nightwatcher says not autism, it's ASD, which when I looked that up, it said it was connected with autism, which basically means sociopathy. ADHD plus ASD. Noble says just a yogurt doing burpees in his basement. Well, it would have to be vegan yogurt, Noble. Just a vegan yogurt doing burpees in his basement. Noble says, you're amazing, Yogi. Thank you for the support and the kind words. My pleasure, also my honor. Noble Squirrel and Traveler says, we're almost at 10 likes for your 10 push-ups. I believe we have our channels mixed up. I did do, I think, 330 some push-ups today with my Navy SEALs, not to mention my warm-up push-ups. So probably close to 360 push-ups total. Mocha says, it is not sociopathy. Autism spectrum disorder. And often they also have ADHD. That's what I thought. Because when Nightwatcher mentioned it yesterday, I looked it up. And Nightwatcher says no, the other ASD, antisocial personality disorder. Okay. Mocha says okay, yes, huge difference. I will have to look that up. ASPD. Is that right? ASPD? However, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Nightwatcher. It's a label. Doesn't mean that you are confined to any status quo. It means that you have something that needs to be addressed, worked with, approached, and you take it from there. Does it need to be a sentence of any kind? Mocha says you, or I'm sorry, Flower says you're an introvert, right? Night Watcher says, oops, I excluded the P. Mocha says it's all good. Yep. Now we understand, though. Night Watcher says, well, I'm lonely and I tried to actively make friends, so I'm kind of extrovert. It's just I have zero social skills. You know, Night Watcher, I can only go by what you present here on a chat. And there's certainly absolutely nothing antisocial about your behavior. You've stuck up for people here. You've defended people here. You've reached out to people here. You've offered kindness, compassion, caring. And you've been a true friend to everyone that comes here. So I think you have all that it takes. You have those social skills. It may take some work to be able to take it from here to outside the internet, but if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. Flower is working on a playlist upload. Looking forward to that. Night Watcher is asking what the playlist is about. Flower says, I got friends out of nowhere. Everything comes from nowhere. One of my favorite Neil Young songs, which not everyone will get the reference, not everyone under the age of 20. Neil Young, everyone knows This Is Nowhere. I might have to play that in a little bit. Mocha says, yeah, it's difficult to navigate social skills. Difficult, but as Mocha knows, not impossible. I think Mocha would say something similar, Night Watcher. You know, she's interacted with you here, but nothing but kind, nothing but polite. Laura says, CIT and scene playlist. And she's listened to some bands. All right, that'll give me sort of a background in what you guys listen to nowadays. Now, what it says, well, in real life, I'm violent and have anxiety, have outbursts all the time, and have violent thoughts. But you know what? If you can come here and be kind, you can come here and be sympathetic and be empathetic and compassionate, you can do it offline as well. There's not much difference. We only think there's that dividing line, but it doesn't have to be there. You can take what you have here and incrementally approach the rest of your life with it. You can come here and get that center of calm, that center of peace, and have it carry over. Lots of ways you can do it. Just find that peace here amongst friends, people who care about you, people who love you, and just slowly walk through the rest of your life holding on to that. And you can always return. I'm here twice a day, every day. Also know the things that you offer here, they're you. So even if, there are times when you're violent, and there are times when you have anxiety, and there are times you have outbursts and violent thoughts, that doesn't define you. It doesn't have to. If you can be kind here, you can do it somewhere else. If you can be social here, you can do it somewhere else. Flower says, well, that's completely fine with us or me. I agree with Flower. Night Watcher says, also Flower, I have some playlists of anatomy and face drawings if you want to check it out. Hey, that reminds me, Night Watcher, you asked me if I would promote a friend of yours, and I'm happy to. If you have to provide a link though, so I can have something to promote. Flower says, drawing faces are my fave. I guess because, and sometimes I see, that's a new one for me. Flower, SMTH, about face drawing or whatever, and I want to draw it. Flower says, oh yeah, Eric, are you able to share your Facebook here? I am unable to share anything here because every time I try to, I hit a button and I disconnect, or I go mute for 2.5 minutes and no one tells me until 2.5 minutes later, after they sit there and enjoy me talking to myself. However, Eric McCarty, ERICMCCARTY. You know what I'll do? I'll put it in on my channel page, and then that way, if anyone wants to connect on Facebook, they can do so. I want to remember to do that. This is why I have a notebook. My cat is back. Night Watcher says, Flower, so true. I only draw faces at the moment because I like to so much. Faces can say a whole lot. SMTH equals something. Okay. All right. That sort of makes sense. Flower says, Eric McCarty, yes, that's it. I'm easy to find. So, gonna wrap things up for the afternoon, guys. It was a fun session. It was fun. It was a fun live. I appreciate everyone coming in. Anthony Sanchez, we have not seen you for a while. I hope you come back. I hope you come back, and I hope you jump in the conversation. Big special shout out to the J. Jordan. Always appreciate you being here. Flower. Flower makes the channel. Always appreciate her. Night Watcher too. Night Watcher, you are a good person, a kind person, and a true friend. Like I said, I've seen you come on here and stick up for people. Hey, you went over, you saw me here by myself, and you thought that I was lonely, and you went out to try to get some people to come in. This is a special thing for someone to do. Not everyone would do that, and you did. And on that note, you never have to do that, though. I'm always perfectly happy having the same conversation by myself or with everyone. And Malcolm McCarty, as always, I appreciate you being here, here and everywhere. Mocha, did you know I accidentally pressed the mute button and had a 2+ minute conversation and no one told me that I was muted until later? Noble, I'm going to be looking for you live. And hey, I hope to see you guys over on Noble's live channel. or his live stream. Odom's Homestead, absolutely beautiful page. When I became friends with Odom, not just a subscriber to his channel, but an actual friend, he started coming here, supporting me. I visited all of his great videos. It opened up an entire world of gardening channels for me. And through Odom, I've made some great, great friends. Um, Speaking of which, Cave Renee's Garden. Uh, Always appreciate her support, her conversation, her friendliness, and just coming here. Just coming here, being part of the conversation. FNHU, man, I'm going to look you up on Instagram, and then we're going to share that GoFundMe, and hopefully we all might be able to help a little bit. And last, I think we got everyone covered with the person that I'm saving for the end. And oh, Mayhem and Miracles, thank you very much. I know some of you guys, hey, I've met some of you guys through Mayhem and Miracles, as well as James Guype. These are more than channels. I am wrapping everything up, guys. These are more than channels that connect you with people. They're connections themselves. It's great to go there and get some new subscribers. But man, it's wonderful to go there and make some friends and make some connections, finding people that you can help. And they give you reason why they want to help, or they give you reason why you want to help them, which is they just put out great content. You want to be part of it. You want to get that out into the world. So, Masha, Mayhem and Miracles, thank you very much. Dagmar, I'm really happy to be spending time on your channel with you and your dog, and the music. So, I think I am now at the end of everything. The person that I saved absolutely for last was my soul family, my soul sister, Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, who, without her, I would not be doing this channel at all. That's for sure. I probably would have stopped. Just watching how she approaches her channel, why she wants to do it, and it's all about helping other people. It's all about spreading joy. Her and the Jay Jordan, and Noble, and Kay. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? So, with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see everyone later. I'm going to be live again about 5, a little after 5. If you can make it, awesome. If you can't, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.